this is the content analysis project. So this is what we've been working up to. Like, this is the biggest assignment that we do in this class, and it has multiple parts. So this video is going to cover just the content analysis portion of it. There is a separate one for the how to write guide and the content creation. So you'll need to watch both videos to understand the full scope of the assignment, because there are 3 parts. So this is the first one. And it's really a gigantic expansion of the data analysis project. So in the data analysis project, I assigned the research question, you wrote the hypothesis, and then you collected data into the data chart that I assigned, and then you analyzed that data to answer your hypothesis. In this project, you're going to start off by picking the space and picking 3 content creators. You can't be one of them. It needs to be 3 content creators. They all need to be in the same space. I know I say this all over the document, but I'm going to say it out loud too. I know that content creators exist across multiple spaces. There are people who create YouTube videos and shorten them and or create different ones for TikTok and or Instagram and or all of the things. There are a lot of content creators that are on Instagram and Blue Sky. There are still some content creators that are on YouTube and Twitter. They're all over. They mix and match. You're picking one space and 3 content creators who all exist in that space, who are creating for the same audience, because the data needs to be comparable. The content needs to be comparable. And the only way to do that reasonably is to narrow the focus that much. Could we ask bigger questions? Yes, but then you would have to write a book, not a research essay. And we don't have time for you to write a book. We've only got about 6 weeks for this project. Could somebody write a book in 6 weeks? Absolutely, that's what NaNoWriMo is all about. But that's not what we're doing here. We're doing a brief analysis on 3 content creators. Okay, so they need to be in the same space. The other piece, and I need you to really look at this, all of the social media spaces give content creators different access and different abilities. They allow content creators to turn stuff on and turn stuff off, including the visibility of their data. Before you select content creators, you need to make sure that you can see the data for at least 30 posts in a row. You're not cherry picking your data. You're going 30 posts in a row. Can you see the data? You need to double check that before you pick somebody. Otherwise, you have nothing from which to base your analysis. You don't know how the audience is engaging because the content creator has chosen to hide that data from its viewers. They're allowed to make whatever decisions they want. That just doesn't make their page or their profile usable for this project. Find a different one. Okay, so the goal of this assignment is for you to write a research question that centers content strategy. You will then write a hypothesis that answers your research question so that you know the direction you're going to go with your data collection. You will then use the chart from the last assignment. You will remix it. The exact chart from the last assignment will not work for this assignment. You need to make changes so that you can ensure your chart collects the data that is necessary to show your hypothesis as right or wrong. Just like in the last assignment, the goal here is not to have a right hypothesis. The goal here is to collect and analyze data to show whether your hypothesis was right or wrong. It does not need to be. That is not what the grade is dependent on. That's not good science. That's horrifying science, in fact. Don't do that. Don't change your hypothesis unless it needs to be changed, and I'll give you feedback on that because it needs to be measurable. The other thing that we can't measure because we don't have enough time and we don't have the data that's possible is audience growth. There is no way on any of these spaces with the kind of access to data that we have that you can measure audience growth over time. Not possible. Don't do it. Okay, so you are going to write a research question. You are going to write a hypothesis. All of this is in the overview. You are going to collect data that answers your hypothesis, which will be a remixed data chart from the data analysis practice project. You will then build an analysis. I have provided to you all the subheadings you need for this draft. The big caveat here, it needs to be multimodal. You need images, you need graphs, you need the posts that you're analyzing. You probably need to add extra images to tell us something about the audience. All of the information is laid out for you. We break it up week by week, so you're not doing all of this in a week. You're doing all of this over the course of 6 weeks. So you have some time to do this. Make sure to follow along with all of the assignments as we're going through them to give yourself time to work on it, to stay up to date. But the goal with this really is because this is an under-researched field. The only things that we are writing about content strategy, and by we I mean academics, but even people who can be hired as consultants within business, are here's how businesses should do content strategy better, and here's how to optimize like SEO and stuff like that. We're not talking about everyday content creators anywhere at all. There is there is incredibly limited secondary research in this field. So you asking this research question and writing this hypothesis and collecting this data is new information. You are adding to the field just by engaging with this project. So you really want to think about what conclusions can you draw, and they're going to be itty bitty, and they're supposed to be, and that's what matters. Okay, so use the subheadings I provided. I will give you lots of feedback on the research question and the hypothesis and the data chart to make sure that you are asking a question that is answerable. And then we'll have lots of time to work through the analysis to make sure that I can give you as much feedback as possible on the analysis. If you have questions as you're going through this, you're going to have ample opportunity to reach out and ask them, but please reach out and ask any questions that you have, because I want you to be successful with this project. I'll see you online.